Malaysian pop singer arrested for drug trafficking in Thailand. A well-known Malaysian pop singer has been arrested after the discovery of over 6,000 methamphetamine tablets in Thailand's southernmost province of Narathiwat, police reported on Monday. Wan Nur Eda Ezrin binti Wan Ismail, 29, better known as Eda Ezrin, was apprehended on Friday at a hotel in Sungai Khalek district. She was arrested along with 5 other Malaysians: Muhammad Alif bin Durrahman, 32, Muhammad Effendi bin Ahmad, 34, Nur Ida binti Mahmud, 32, Erdika bin Muhammad Noor, 31, and Zuhaira Nasreen, 25. The group was found with 6,060 methamphetamine tablets. Although none of the suspects claimed ownership of the drugs, all 6 individuals tested positive for drug use, according to a police source. The suspects have been charged with possession of methamphetamine with the intent to distribute, a type 1 narcotic drug, as well as drug use, the police stated. They were brought to court on Monday. The police also charged 2 suspects with illegal entry into the country, as their passports had not been properly stamped by Malaysian or Thai immigration authorities. Around 100 fans of the singer, along with relatives of the suspects, gathered outside the Sungai Khalek police station on Monday, where they were scheduled to be taken to Narathiwat Provincial Court. About 50 crowd control officers were deployed at the police station. A local source reported that plainclothes Malaysian police officers and journalists were spotted among the crowd outside the police station. The source added that these officers had come to Narathiwat to observe how the Thai police were handling the case. A Malaysian officer, who wished to remain anonymous, said authorities in the neighboring country had been pursuing one of the suspects for some time, believing them to be involved in drug trafficking. Thailand to send workers to Israel despite conflict. The Department of Employment will send 800 workers to Israel this month despite the ongoing conflict in the region, as many Thais continue to show interest in working there, said DOE Chief Somchai Morakotruwan on Monday. Mr. Somchai assured that the workers would only be deployed in safe areas, noting that employment agencies are prohibited from sending Thai workers to conflict zones in northern Israel. In the event that the conflict between Israel and Hezbollah escalates, Mr. Somchai said the government would develop a plan to evacuate the workers to safety. He mentioned that representatives from the Labor Ministry have been in contact with officials from the Israeli embassy in Bangkok to discuss the issue. When asked if the decision would endanger the workers, Mr. Somchai replied that suspending cooperation would not ensure their safety, as if they truly wanted to work in Israel, they would find a way to go on their own, making it harder for the government to monitor and protect them. The high demand for jobs in Israel was evident at a recent recruitment event at Chiang Rai Rajabhat University, where thousands of candidates attended a skills test. Maria Savescu, a representative from an Israeli recruitment agency, said Israeli companies are looking to fill approximately 2,000 positions, particularly for carpenters, ironsmiths, bricklayers, and tilers. The agency noted that most employers prefer male applicants aged 25 to 45. Mr. Savescu added that between 3,000 and 4,000 additional workers will be needed in Israel's construction sector before the end of the year, with demand expected to increase to 10,000 next year. Last year, 2,174 Chiang Rai locals left for various jobs in Israel. 3 were killed, 1 was injured, and 2 were rescued after being taken hostage during the Hamas attack in October 2023. Regarding the Hezbollah rocket attack in the northern city of Metchala, which killed 4 Thai workers and injured 1, Mr. Somchai said the Labor Ministry is in talks with Israeli authorities about repatriation and compensation under Israeli labor laws. The DOE will also work with the Overseas Employment Fund unit to provide financial aid to the families of the victims as soon as possible. They are expected to receive 40,000 baht for funeral expenses and an additional 40,000 baht for their descendants, Mr. Somchai said. MOU with Cambodia cannot be unilaterally revoked, says Minister. Thailand cannot unilaterally revoke the controversial 2001 Memorandum of Understanding, MOU, on resources with Cambodia, but there is no doubt that Koh Kut Island belongs to Thailand, Interior Minister Anutin Charnvirakul said on Monday. Mr. Anutin, who is also a deputy prime minister, said at Government House that the MOU could not be changed or revoked without Cambodia's consent. He was responding to demands from vested groups, including the opposition Palang Pracharat Party and some academics, to annul the agreement over concerns that it jeopardized Thai sovereignty over Koh Kut, a border island in Trat province. He stated that there was no question that Koh Kut was part of Thailand. As Interior Minister, I confirm that Koh Kut undoubtedly and completely belongs to Thailand. Fellow Thais live there, and it is recognized as a district of Trat, Mr. Anutin said. There should be no doubt about sovereignty over Koh Kut. There are documents, including a royal decree, that attest to the general acceptance that Koh Kut belongs to Thailand, he added. Deputy Prime Minister and Defence Minister Phumtham Wechayachai explained that the 2001 MOU related to an overlapping claim area with Cambodia in the Gulf of Thailand and had nothing to do with Koh Kut. The MOU had not been revoked during the tenure of the Abhisit Vejjajiva government, as some had claimed. He also mentioned that if there were any discussions on joint marine interests, the government would insist that boundary demarcation be included in the talks. Mr. Phumtham expressed disagreement with any proposal to alter the border regarding Koh Kut. Sonarat Sonajirawong, head of academic and policy affairs at the Palang Pracharat Party, said the Abhisit cabinet had agreed in principle to revoke the MOU on November 10, 2009. Leaders and members of some of the current coalition parties had been part of the Abhisit government at that time, he noted. These parties included Bum Jathai, Mr. Sonarat said. Mr. Anutin is the leader of the Bum Jathai party. I would like current coalition parties to confirm their intention to cancel the 2001 MOU, as they did in that previous cabinet, to protect the national interest and prevent conflicts of interest involving any influential and capitalistic group, Mr. Sonarat, a former Energy and Commerce Minister, said. Parliament Committee to investigate Thaksin's hospital stay. A House committee will meet on Thursday to look into claims that former Prime Minister Thaksin Shinawatra received privileged treatment during his detention at the Police General Hospital, PGH. The Committee on State Security, Border Affairs, National Strategy, and Reform will meet to discuss ways to reform the justice system, but questions surrounding Thaksin's alleged special treatment during detention will also be included on the meeting's agenda, according to a source. The committee is chaired by Rangsaman Rome, a list MP from the main opposition People's Party. Officials will be invited to provide information, including Seri Roam Thai Party leader Pol Gen Saripasuth Tinyaves, former Deputy National Police Chief Pol Gen Shurikate Hakparn, PGH physician Pol Lieutenant Gen Tosilp Wichawatarn, and the director of the Medical Correctional Institution, Watanachai Mingbanchurdsuk. This move follows a report released on July 30 by the National Human Rights Commission, NHRC, which raised concerns about preferential treatment for inmates, particularly former Prime Minister Thaksin. The report highlighted vague regulations regarding the transfer of inmates requiring medical treatment, which allowed them to stay outside prison without proper checks. The NHRC report states that this regulation, issued on September 25, 2020, was signed by Mr. Somsak Thepsutin, the Justice Minister at the time, with the approval of a corrections committee. The regulation, it said, could lead to misuse of power, as prison authorities only need approval from the Director General of Corrections, who is then required to report to the Justice Minister or the Ministry's Permanent Secretary. This loophole enabled Thaksin to extend his stay outside prison for medical treatment beyond the initial 120 days, from December 22 to February 18, the report said. Thaksin's extended stay at the Police General Hospital is also being investigated by the National Anti-Corruption Commission, NACC. Thaksin returned to Thailand on August 22 last year after 15 years in self-imposed exile. On that day, he was taken to the Supreme Court, which sentenced him to 8 years in prison across 3 cases. The sentence was later reduced to 1 year by royal clemency. On his first night at Bangkok Remand Prison, doctors determined he should be transferred to the hospital due to chest pain, hypertension, and low blood oxygen levels. Thaksin was legally allowed to receive treatment outside prison for 120 days, but the Department of Corrections permitted him to stay in the hospital beyond December 22. He was paroled and discharged from the hospital on February 18. The former telecommunications tycoon officially completed his 1-year prison term on August 31 this year.